Two 30-round magazines, 60-round magazine, and a 100-round magazine. That's what we are going to be discussing today, guys. 3 different varieties of high capacity magazine options, I guess, for you. And let's go over all of them and see how they shoot and some disadvantages and advantages of all of them, okay? Apocalypse. So first one up here are these ETS magazines that I got off of New Frontier Armory, by the way, for a really good price. If you guys want to go check them out, I got a discount code in the description. And so what's cool about these is that they interlock with each other. So you can basically put them on like this, click and rotate and connect them together like that. And you got yourself 60-round magazine here. Now you could add a 3rd one, a 4th one, or 5th one. Now it's just going to look goofy going up your rifle like that. And I'm not sure if you want to go beyond 3 or so. It depends what you have on the top of your rifle, because once you start switching these over, are the sides of the magazines going to be interfering with your scope or things like that. But I would stop at 3 maximum magazines or whatever, but that's just my opinion. Maybe you guys have tried others and without any issues. What's cool about these is there's not a dust cover on this one. I took it off, but it does come with dust covers, which are quite simple to put on and take off. So that's the ETS Elite Tactical Systems group. The other one that I got, and this is Black Friday deal. This is a really good price. Gun Mag Warehouse. And I'm not affiliated by those guys either, but this is the Schmeisser 60-round magazine, Schmeisser ATI American Tactical, and this is really only made for 5.56. I should backtrack and say that these ETS magazines are rated for 5.56 by 45, the typical 2 to 3 round, things like that, and also your 300 blackout 7.62 by 35. So this one, the manual says it's not recommended for 300 blackout, which makes sense because, I'll talk to you guys up here actually, which makes sense because you can see the tip here, how narrow it is towards the front, and the 300 blackout rounds are fatter and wider, and so that's probably going to cause some interference. Whereas the ETS magazines here, you can kind of see that it's more rounded here on the opening for larger caliber bullets like the 300 blackout. So your 60-round magazine here by ATI Schmeisser, and I think this is going to be one of my favorites. We'll see. But also Black Friday also had another really good deal. This is the KCI AR-15 100-round magazine. That was a really good price, so I couldn't say no. And it comes and it arrives with this dust cover on top of the magazine here. I'll show you guys it here a little bit. And that was a lot of fun loading. It comes with this cool little carrying pouch with belt clips on the back, and on the side here goes the magazine speed loader here, and it comes with some graphite here in case you need to give some lubrication to your magazine. You don't want to use wet lubrication, use this dry lubrication. You just kind of have to take these screws apart here to open up the plastic here, and then you can put your lubrication in there, your graphite. But anyway, this is your drum magazine. Now, I like this kind of setup with a drum on each side versus one big drum at the bottom, because then it's kind of like more compact and out of the way. So you get this magazine up and out of the way a little bit more for a little bit easier carrying. But I'll see how this shoots in my experience today. But yeah, those are the 3 magazines we're going to try today. And let's go ahead and get it started and see what we like best. So here we are loading up this 100-round drum here. As you can see, it comes with these little rolling simulated rounds, I guess. I think that's just to kind of fill up this chamber here, this little magazine portion or whatever that fits in your magazine well, to kind of push all of the ammunition through. So let's go ahead and start loading some of these up. Pretty much same concept as usual, just pushing it in, and that's it. And you keep going. And then I think once you get a little bit stiff there, you're going to have to go ahead and use this that comes with it. This is basically a magazine loader for you that can help you push new rounds in. Okay, so this drum is getting a little bit stiffer to load, or a little bit more difficult to load. I've already put in about 10 rounds, I think. Still able to push them down in here, but you know, I think here in a bit, I think I'll just try to switch over to this then. Now, I'm not really sure how this thing works. So to use this magazine loader here, you can see there's when you open this, it presents you a slot here, and here you can see that it's got a direction of the bullet, right? So go ahead and put this over or onto your magazine thing here. You can just drop them in like this. You see that? Drop them in, as many that'll fit. And I already lost count, we'll count the next ones. But you put that in there like that, and let's see if this works. Push it straight down. All right, that was pretty easy actually. Okay. So loading a 100 round magazine is not gonna be too much of an issue. I dropped it around here, let's grab it. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you put in 6? Nope. All right, so you can only do like 5 rounds at a time. Go ahead and push it down. That makes it quite simple and easy to do. As you can see down here, we can start to see the drums getting filled up. So between here, from here to here, it looks like it's about 30 rounds already or so. But let's go and push. Whoops. All right. Try doing it for the, this is not the drum's fault. This is me trying to show you how it works on camera. And I took the magazine speed loader off. So, all right, let's go ahead and do it again. Push down. All right, perfect. You can see everything's still working smoothly here, okay? We'll go ahead and load up the rest. All right. Well, okay, so we're close to 100 here. There's an arrow here that points to 100. This arrow doesn't point to 100, so do I have 100 in here or not? I can't push any more in there, so we're going to assume we've got 100 rounds in there. I didn't count how many boxes because the first box didn't have a full box of ammunition in it, so I'm not really sure exactly, but I'm going to go ahead and say that we are at 100 rounds anyway. And it was a little bit difficult to get the last few in there, but as long as you push down pretty good, you can squeeze the rest of those in there. There you have it, fully loaded 100 round mag. It doesn't feel as heavy as I assumed it would. Here's the 60 rounder fully loaded, and to me, it feels like the 60 rounder is heavier than the 100. I don't know why. Maybe just because this just feels more solid, like a brick in my hand. Yeah, obviously the 100 rounds would be heavier. And then you got your two 30s, which feel a little bit lighter than the 60. And maybe it's just due to this big chunk of design here of plastic and everything. So overall, you got options. All right, through the magic of YouTube, we're going to put this ETS magazine into the AR-15. Like that. All right, so we'll go ahead and take this dust cover off here, I think. All right, so you can already see maybe some issues, maybe not issues, but just some things to point out. If your dust cover is off, when I put that magazine in there, I couldn't seat it in all the way. And so you might want to make sure that's up all the way, or, you know, before you use it, take this dust cover off, which, see how complicated it is if you don't do this before. Go ahead and squeeze those tabs open like that, and this comes off like that pretty easily. And so there you go. Now if we shoot, which I have to load one in there anyway, the dust cover falls down and yeah, it is out of the way. So if you had a third one on here, it'd be even lower. So you should always be out of the way, it looks like. On the other side here, now I don't know if when you start getting higher and higher, like I said, here's my scope or optic in the way here. If we kept getting higher, how that would look. But yeah, that's why I say try to stick with maybe 3 or less, and I think you should be fine. So I have 15 rounds in each of these 30 round magazines just to kind of try it out, and we'll swap over and see how that feels. Okay, we're ready to go. What'd you guys think of that? That was fun, right? Were you expecting that binary trigger? All right, then we just swap it over like that. And as you can see, it stays out of the way of the bolt catch here. And yeah, so that was, let's see how easy that is. So, the magazine does kind of get in the way of your finger here. If you have long fingers or you want to have a tactile quick finger on here, you're going to have to shorten your finger down a little bit to release that or train with it. Once you get it over, it's easy to do that. And now that we don't have any more magazines over here, then it's obviously out of the way. But let's go ahead and finish this 15 round. Okay, there you go. 15 rounds, 30 rounds total. And yeah, it is not too bad. It is pretty practical, I think. The only issue is when you are probably moving around in a tactical environment on the ground and stuff, and you bump or something like that, these magazines on something, they can come off. So you might want to tape them on, glue them on, but I think you're aware of that before you buy them. You might want that option to quickly take these off or put them on to give to your friend or something like that in a situation. But yeah, these are a good option, I think, a not totally expensive option, and it's always cool to keep some things interlocked like this. Next up is the ATI Schmeisser 60 round magazine with a cool little window in here that tells you when it's full. I am using steel casing ammunition. You might be asking me, why are you using such cheap steel ammunition? Well, you know, to find out really how functional this magazine could be, why not use the worst ammo? If it works really good with steel case ammo that everyone hates on, then it should work really good for brass, right? So that's why I'm using that. And these I loaded up about a month ago. They've just been sitting. We're gonna find out how well it shoots. You know, if it's been sitting around, if that affected anything, we'll see. It's been cold out here now, so that might also play a factor in it, but yep, we'll put that in. And it does feel heavier, obviously, because I only had 15 and 15 rounds in the other one. But as far as, you know, like stability, maybe it's not, it still seems pretty well balanced. It is longer than a typical 30 round magazine, so which would fit about like that. But you know, I feel pretty comfortable, pretty great about it. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe that's why I might like the drum better. But yeah, this thing may be dragging, getting in the way of things when you're moving around. Who knows? But there could be some disadvantages there. But right now, I'm pretty happy with it. Let's go ahead and finish 60 rounds off. All right, first failure. What is the failure? I'm not sure. It looks like the bolt did try to put that through. We'll set that back. Who knows? I don't think it would be an ammunition issue. Let's find out. Do I have one in the chamber? Nope. Okay, we'll go ahead and cycle one through. It went in. Who knows what happened? All right. Oh, I must have had a failure because I have more ammunition, but it just went click. Let's see here. Oh, who knows? Kind of a light primer strike there. Looks like the primer kind of got seated in there a little bit. So that seems like a ammunition issue, not a magazine issue. Let's go ahead and finish this off. 60 rounds, that was kind of fun. Yeah, I felt like I was shooting forever actually. 30 rounds, more than that obviously, but you know, maybe I should have loaded up with 30-30 to have a better comparison. But you know, I think this thing worked flawlessly. I had a couple issues, but I don't think it was magazine related. I think it was maybe more gun related, or I mean, it is cold out here. I didn't do some lube on there. Maybe I should have, but you know, I did have a light primer strike. We'll pick up another one here. So this is a spent casing where the primer looks pretty deep. This one, I hope it's focusing there, but it's a light primer strike, but the primer is in deeper. So I feel like maybe that primer was kind of pretty hard. And so the firing pin kind of smashed the primer in deeper into the casing, because the primer on this one is level with the bottom of the casing there. The primer on this one is not. Or maybe it could be that, you know, it's probably unlikely that a firing pin could push a primer in deeper. So the problem probably is the ammunition at the manufacturer, where the primer is seated too low into the casing and then it go off when you pull the trigger. So that one I will say is a ammunition issue, not a magazine issue. All right, now I guess we are ready for the fun, the 100 round magazine. And it's gonna take a while to get through this, right? We're gonna have to just use the binary trigger. Through the magic of YouTube, let's go ahead and load this thing up. Like that. Oh man, this thing is heavy, you can tell already. Make sure you pull the bolts back, because when you load it, the top round of the magazine is pushing under the bottom of the bolt, and it's gonna be really hard to kind of slam or push this 100 round magazine in through there, because you know, it's 100 rounds and there's a lot of tension in there. So again, it seems like this drum kind of gets in the way with your magazine release finger here, but if you can I mean, man, you kind of got to slide up and in there, or maybe from the side. You're just gonna have to feel around to get that. But if you got big fingers or long fingers, that might be a little bit challenging for you. You might not like this magazine, but we'll see. I mean, anything like that just kind of gets in the way of any, quick tactical situations. Maybe it's not recommended for that, but you can always train with things to get better at it, to get used to it, to figure out ways to make the guns and magazines work for you, right? Okay, so we'll go ahead and close the bolt. There we go. Seemed like it was fine. And we'll see what kind of failures or malfunctions I get out of this. Again, this is going to be steel case ammunition. And like I said, if this works pretty good, then we should know that brass works pretty good, right? And I already had a malfunction with the ATI Schmeisser because of a lower primer. We'll see if any of these have the same issue. And just to talk about what I noticed so far, a lot of these rounds are now not kind of, how do I say, maybe interlocked or something, overlapping on top of each other now. I don't know, that's just, they kind of move around a little bit. We'll see how reliable this feeds once we get shooting, see if everything works pretty good, okay? So, oh man, talking here for a while, holding this up kind of makes your arm tired. 100 rounds here, and yeah, you can definitely feel the weight trying to push this up into your sight picture here, but okay, slow rate of fire kind of caused a malfunction. Maybe, let's see. It is getting super hot. Where did that round go? Okay. All right, this is the round. Again, I think it's a primer issue that's lower than the bottom of the casing. Let's go ahead and finish this off. Only one malfunction so far. My hands are getting hot. Okay. There's a couple rounds left. Why did that not go off either? Yeah. It is also a kind of a low seated primer. And one more. Let's see what happens. Okay, we are out, and the last round bolts hold open didn't work. Does it have one? Does this magazine have one? No, I guess not. So, yep, so if you wanted the last round bolt hold open option, it is not going to work with this magazine because there's no feed ramp that pushes the bolt catch up to lock the bolt back. So something to keep in mind. Oh, and be careful how or where you touch the rifle after shooting 100 rounds because you might burn yourself, kind of like I did. See that white mark there? But anyway, I'll be okay. Let's go ahead and review all of the options here. So just to recap, the ETS magazine here, it's one of my favorite options just because I think it's light. This will fit nice into a carry pouch or things like that. Or you can always break them down if you want to make space or something like that. But if you wanted to have a quick grab of something, if all your magazines were like this, it's going to be pretty nice that you can just interlock them. I didn't have any issues with these. They were loaded with 15 rounds each, no malfunctions. But again, I was using brass ammunition here, good quality ammunition without any issues. And again, these are good for 5.56 or 300 blackout. Oh, and also to take apart these magazines, it's quite easy. It comes with this cool little bullet image here, whatever you want to call it, but you can press that down. Once you do that, push this plate forward, comes off like that, and you can clean it if you want, and it's really easy to slide back on. Again, also comes with cool little dust covers if that's what you guys fancy. And overall, I like those a lot. The only gripe about it would be that they can come apart while you're actually needing to use them. The ATI Schmeisser, it's nice that you can get one of these 60 round magazines so you have everything in one package. You won't have to mess around with two magazines. Some negatives is that you can't use this with 300 blackout, so you're stuck with one caliber. But if that's not a big issue or problem for you, then this would be great. It's also got a window here with a numeric count on here. This is translucent. You can see how many you have in there. It doesn't have a quantity though, but this one does, which that kind of helps as well. It's nice, sturdy black polymer, and I haven't had any issues with this so far. To take this apart, you can just push this button here and slide the feed ramp out, and you can do it that way as well, and it's not a big deal. A larger footprint, I would say, versus compared to, you know, I don't know, this one doesn't count, I guess. I don't have two standard AR mags with me, but this one is thicker than the Schmeisser option, so you might want to keep that in mind if you're having issues with space. But this one should be the size of 2 magazines that you can just put in a carry pouch or a chest rig or something like that. And last but not least, this drum magazine, it actually impressed me, from KCI actually. I mean, there's a lot of manufacturers, a few others that make these, and so far this one seemed to run pretty good. I like that it came with all of this as well for cheaper or less than those other ones. It has, so it's cool that you can just, you know, load this up, stow it away, put it in your truck or something like that, or go bag, or whenever, you know, SHTF and a situation and you need to get out of Dodge. But yeah, this thing has worked flawlessly for me too. I thought it was gonna have more hangups, and the hangups that I did have, you know, even with the Schmeisser and the 100 round magazine, were just ammunitions with low primer, so the primer strike was horrible. In general though, the gun's gonna get hot. I mean, it's always going to get hot no matter which magazines you use. It all depends on the high rate of fire, which you're going to get a lot more quicker rate of fire continuously if you use larger magazines like this. And so pay attention to that. I probably should get away from this fixed handguard and use a free floating handguard. But other than that, I think all of these magazines are viable options. If I had to choose just one, I probably would just get a few of these ATI Schmeissers. They're just a little bit, they're pretty convenient and easy to use and easy to find, I think, and easy to store away in your chest rigs. Whereas this drum magazines, they work pretty good. You just, you know, if you wanted a couple of these around, you might have to have a couple of pouches. They're just bulky, and you know, you could get 2 of these. That's 120 rounds, and I think they take up a little bit less footprint than this drum magazine. But again, the length of this might not be a good option for you. This one works great because your magazine release is not in the way of any of these other two options when you use these on the AR-15. So there you guys have it. Just bringing you guys the information from my experience. Let me know in the comments section what kind of experiences you guys have had and what you guys would like to see more of. If there's any questions you had about this video, let me know. And please subscribe, and the comments and likes helps me figure out what kind of content you guys like to see most of. So please do that if you wish, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.